Tom Sears on pole, the two-time champion, putting his flag into the ground, and he says, here's my run for 3. The man from Southampton, Massachusetts, leads us to the line, and we are green at Chicagoland. The Bluegrass Bandit, Toby Estes, in the Coors Light Chevrolet, takes the lead, while the pole sitter Tom Sears slips down almost outside of the top 3, and defending champion Jacob Prince in the background. 30-13, fastest lap so far. Kentucky's Toby Estes, quickest under the setting sun of Chicagoland. We just recently started a few laps ago. Noah Belleville running in second. He's won 3 races so far, and he has a ridiculous lead in these Thursday Night Thunder points. And I'm curious to see what's going on, because this genuinely could be that year. This could be, after all the teasing, after all the jokes, because we say he never runs a full-time season, this could genuinely be it for Belleville. We're only, 4 races in now? We'll have to see. Back from a week's break, we did not race last week as the majority of us went down to Atlanta for a little bit of a corporate meeting, if you will. A lot of people meeting each other for the first time, and we all just kind of got together as a group, and it's been a yearly tradition now for some time, and we're back after our vacation, if you will, and racing is on offer. Toby Estes says he doesn't want to race anybody. He wants to lead from the front. Let's see what that looks like. Tight through the middle of the pack. Josh Gaiman in the 6-1, up 3 places from where he started. Two-time champion Tom Sears in the top 4, and Gaiman looks like he gets loose out of the corner. Massachusetts driver Kyle St. John in the 55 sits just ahead of the sophomore Seeger in the lows, number 16. And if anybody calls this a throwback, we're going to fight, because this paint scheme's not old enough to be a throwback yet, but it is what will be a throwback. It's a classic, that Jimmy Johnson championship winning paint scheme, and I think this was, I want to say 2006, but somebody out there in the chat knows better than me. Go ahead and correct me and let me know, what year was this, 2006 or whenever. Chris Fleming, the gap between the top 8 and then some. He's in 8th, and then you have Brooklyn's Nick Pressey in the 9th position with some new colors tonight, still sporting the drip diecast and collectibles sponsorship, but with kind of a, I don't know what you would call that, an alternate paint scheme, if you will. The blue and orange car, now blue in number, orange in stripe, and right now running on the cusp of the top 10, with John Honeybrink now knocking on the door. How about car 2-0? Behind the 1-0 spot, he's getting close to Nick Pressey. Pressey already saving fuel. Have a listen. going for the long run, trying to make the gas work for him. Only 10 laps into this race of the scheduled 125. Drip, Diecast, and Collectibles. Race Facts are estimating 35 laps on a fuel run. We'll see just how far that goes on. And the American pitcher from Taiwan, Matt Kent, says hello. Tristan Catania in 17th, just ahead of him, the New Jersey pilot. On an island by himself, 1 second behind Tommy Withers, 1 second ahead of Matt Kent, and the Virginian in the number 6, Mark Martin Xerox colors, coming up behind Colin McDonough in the 3-9. This is the battle for 15th. Honeybrink now dealing with the local driver from Decatur. Unfortunately, he's not staying. Ryan Pennell in the 1-2 sits just ahead of John Honeybrink, and then Orlando's Richie Catania coming up behind this battle for the top spot. 2-4 behind the 2-0. This is for 12th, and Catania puts on the brakes. Emily's in the house cheering for Matt Seeger, who's further ahead. There he is in 8th. He's working on this St. John Gaiman battle. Honeybrink in 12th, still trying to hold off Catania. And then there's Matt Seeger in the 16, trying to get up closer to St. John, kind of in a single file train all the way up to 4th place, where the defending champion Jacob Prince is coming up on last week's winner Noah Belleville. Tom Sears has worked his way back up to 2nd, and at the front, the pride of Greensburg, Kentucky in the Silver Bullet leads 15 laps into this race. That's what now 8/10 looks like as Tom Sears starts to close the gap. Chris Fleming just ahead of Nick Pressey. Richie Catania in the 2-4 now coming up behind that 1-2. And with a little bit of damage on the right front fender. Drivers using their bumpers here. Tommy Withers on board with the 3-9. Let's go on board with the 6. Josh Gaiman's in the wall, and he's trying to stay out of everybody's way. What went on with the 61 car? Just kind of motionless, waiting for everybody to go by. And you got to take his hat off, because not everybody would do such a thing. Josh Gaiman keeps it glued to the wall, and nobody gets wrecked. What happened with car 61? Oh, the 2-9 gets into the wall there. The 61 goes through the grass, briefly saves it. St. John beneath him into turn number 1. They go, and what happens here? Does the 6-1 get loose? Does St. John go into him? No, this is laps earlier. Way earlier here. Try one more time. just get into the wall. We just caught him at the wrong time. He just gets loose there. And it looks like Toby Estes is it. What happened to the 8 car? What happened to Toby Estes? Just a massive blink for the 8. I want to go back to see what happened to Josh Gaiman. And there is a 61 already in the wall. So he must have just gotten up into the wall, and that's exactly what happened there. Yeah, 61 gets too high, catches the wall, and he rides it all the way to the backstretch while everybody flies behind him. Noah Belleville now gives up the top 3 spot for defending champion Jacob Prince, and Tom Sears now within 0.6 to race leader Toby Estes. 22 laps into this race of the scheduled 125. Further on back, John Honeybrake now looking to the inside, and he'll find a wild Tommy Withers, who appears. He's going to take that 12th position, and now he goes up to Season 4 champion Thomas Andrews and asks him politely to get out of the way. Trying to break that top 11. Jake Prince, your Season 8 champion, goes high. Is he going to put the brakes on to not catch the wall? They're both trying to catch up to Tom Sears in a hurry. 0.8 the gap between 2nd and 3rd. St. John's in the wall right ahead of Briley Wright, trying to hang on to that race car. Those tires are shredded, and the Massachusetts driver is desperately keeping it straight. St. John trying his absolute best to keep the car as straight as he possibly can. And he holds on to 6th for now. Here comes Briley Wright, and St. John again really holding the tail out. You got to give it to him. That's a pretty impressive save. Nick Pressey now behind the both of them, just wondering when somebody's going to have an accident. And further on back, Thomas Andrews does let Tommy Withers go by. And the 6th car now moves into 11th. How loose is he going to get this time? Keep your eyes on that green 55. He kept it decent this time. Briley Wright still trying to close that gap. There is car 29. Drivers are in. Here comes Jacob Prince. Here comes Noah Belleville down to pit lane. Last week's winner, last season's champion, running 16th and 17th now because of the pit stops. Matt Kent, pitcher for the Fubon Guardians, comes into the pits. Josh Gaiman also comes into the pits. Toby Estes decides that it's time, and the silver bullet will come down for tires and fuel. Briley Wright will do the same. Tom Sears is your race leader, the Southampton, Massachusetts driver in position number 1. And how much has he saved? That really is the question, because he does have a reputation for this, and he's only saved enough to go 1 lap further. Tom Sears cannot mess this one up on the way in, and he makes it in safely. St. John also in. Here comes the rookie Fleming. New leader, car 16, the sophomore Matt Seeger. What is this going on right here? One car really trying to stay on the lead lap. It looks like the 76, who's now going to remove himself. And Matt Seeger decides it's now his turn to come on down into the pits. And that looks like Nicholas Giampa, the incorrectly numbered Nicholas Giampa. We'll go ahead and get this one fixed here. Apologize for the confusion. Giampa gives it a big slide out of turn number 2. The rookie losing control, and now trying to come back up onto the racetrack, hopefully in one solid piece. Again, being scored as 15 right now, sitting as number 76. We'll get that livery fixed. No worries here. Giampa looks like he might be coming down into the pits ahead of the Decatur driver, Ryan Pennell, giving up third to come on down into the pits. Thomas Andrews, Colin McDonough, John Honeybrink, and now the 40 of Elrich George to follow 30 laps into this race. So drivers almost making it to the predicted fuel window, and new leader from Brooklyn, New York, Nick Pressey. For now. And he will come on down into the pits. Here comes Virginian Withers, and the driver of the number 6 Taurus now completes 30 laps. He leads this race. Noah Belleville, 26 seconds behind. Tommy Withers has not yet come on down into these pits. And he's actually the last driver to do so. 31 laps of fuel. So the quick math will tell you what, if he can do 30, let's say he's coming into the pits now. So if he can complete 31 laps, as he gives it a huge tail slide, and he slides it into pit road, and now it's over. Whatever strategy Tommy Withers had on fuel is done. Look at this, really struggling to get the race car moving, and it could have been a short race. With Tommy Withers on that fuel run. Now Noah Belleville is your race leader, but Toby Estes just went purple, 29.97. Quickest lap thus far, and the only driver to put in a lap under 30 seconds. Let's have another look at Tommy Withers trying to come into the pits. Oh, no, a bit too late now. Yeah, and he went a little bit too far there. But assuming Tommy Withers could make it 32 laps on fuel, well, we're thinking, what, possibly a 3-stop race. But now after losing so much time, he's going to have to make it back up. And unfortunately, it's not a race against time, it's a race against laps. Tommy Withers rejoins in the 17th position, the last car on the lead lap. And there is Noah Belleville in the 41. It's not over for the 6. I'm painting a lot of doom and gloom for no reason. Even if he goes a lap down, he will be the first car 1 lap down. He will get the lucky dog if the caution comes out. But it's about the time lost on pit road. Arguably, you could say it was approximately 10 seconds. With him sitting still and Noah Belleville cruising around at 150 miles an hour minimum. It's a lot of time lost for the 6, and you can see the 41 is going to overtake him. So a caution needs to come out quickly, or Tommy Withers has to employ a different strategy. 3 stops may have worked for the Virginian. He's going to have to think outside the box now. Further up, Josh Gaiman trying to hold off Decatur's Ryan Pennell. Let's go on board with the Mac Tonight machine. Gaiman in the 6-1. Now sitting in 9th, Ryan Pennell still behind him there in the 11th position. And Gaiman now working on Matt Kent in that 31. At the front, Noah Belleville with a big blink, but swapping spots with Toby Estes. Here comes the 8 around the 41. New leader from Greensburg, Kentucky, Toby Estes. Jacob Prince, 3.8 seconds behind the top 2, and it's a masterclass that they're putting on, and he gets into the wall. The defending champion was doing so well. Even before the words came out of my mouth, the curse of the commentator came on to Jacob Prince. But he is doing incredibly well. Taking a look at these points, he says he hasn't had a lot of practice. He says he's gonna try and put in a good points day. Comes into this race in 7th after missing the last couple of events, and a 4th place run. Heck, anything greater than 5th today for Jacob Prince count as a victory, count as a welcome back. And this is his sophomore season, like Matt Seeger in that 16, who's running right behind him in 5th, his 2nd Thursday Night Thunder season. And with one Bluegrass Bandit at the front, there's another one right behind Matt Seeger in 6th. Prince is off the track. Jacob Prince has gone off the track. Has he lost control of the race car? He's called it a night. Slides off the racetrack. Prince has had it. What went on with the double 9? Gets into the wall. And he says, I've had enough. That is unfortunate. Next week, Laguna Seca Raceway. I'll say that again for anybody that knows what Laguna Seca is. Next week, Laguna Seca Raceway. These Gen 4 cars will be there. We hope Jacob Prince will be there, and we know you're going to be there as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's my prediction, it's going to be a spread-out race between the few drivers that love the road courses and those that don't. But whatever it is, it's going to be really imaginative, and I genuinely hope it's going to be a really fun time for everybody involved. But if you've ever dreamed of seeing a NASCAR race at Laguna Seca, well, this will get you sort of close. Next week, right here, 8:40 p.m. Eastern, as the top 2 get into the wall. What in the world are they doing? Now drag racing for the lead at the line. It's Toby Estes by 2/100ths of a second. And we're going to see more of that next week as well. I promise you, there's going to be a lot of cars getting together and kind of losing control of the racetrack next week. Laguna Seca Raceway. Estes back to the lead. Noah Belleville in that 2nd position, and Ryan Pennell all over the back end of Chris Fleming. And now talking amongst themselves for the position, Nick Giampa. Has he gone off the racetrack? He's gone into the pits. And I think Nick Giampa has also decided to call it a night. Loose out of the 4th corner, right into the wall, and it's a big hit for Nick Giampa. Oh, he's into the wall there. And he will come down into his pit stall. Yep. He's decided that enough is enough. So Nick Giampa will also be the 2nd DNF of this race, and that leaves 18 out of 20 drivers running. Ryan Lindemann from the Sunshine State running 2 laps off the pace. Elrich George 1 lap off the pace behind him on the racetrack. Climbing through the order, Richie Catania, Ryan Pennell, Matt Kent. They're going to have a discussion about 9th place. Catania will retain 9th. Ryan Pennell on the back end of the top 10. And the Texas A&M pitcher in 11th, but maybe not for long. Richie on the high side, Matt to the inside. So 9th and 10th will swap spots. And Pennell has his eyes set on Josh Gaiman. Further back, 2 drivers from New Jersey, Tristan Catania and Thomas Andrews, nose to tail. They're going to drag race for 14th. Briley Wright, has something gone on with the 2.9? Maybe a big blink for the 29. Has the internet gone out on Briley Wright's machine? When did Noah Belleville even go to the lead? No idea. This was on lap 44. This was 4 laps ago. Been so busy watching everybody just pass each other. I think we saw this. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get our bearings once again. Tristan Catania is behind Tommy Withers, and he is working his way up. You have got to give him that credit. Back on the lead lap, inside of the top 15, and he might be looking to prove me wrong, because when I said that his fuel strategy game was over, I could be dead wrong. I have no idea how these things work. We'll see what happens in less than 80 laps, I guess. Ryan Pennell's up to 9th, still chasing Gaiman. How about Colin McDonough working on the Season 4 Talladega winner, John Honeybrink? And at the front, now opening a lead of his very own, Noah Belleville up 6/10 on Toby Estes. Tom Sears almost 3 seconds adrift. And then Matt Seeger and Ryan Lindemann nose to tail. Seeger running in 4th. Lindemann is running in 18th. Go Lindo. Shout out everybody in Tampa. Shout out to anybody who knows Ryan Lindemann. Tanner Lockhart's around here somewhere as well. Got to say shout out to him. 75 laps to go next time by. We're going to stay with you, but we're going to take a short break. Enjoy the noise. At the front in the number 16, Matt Seeger goes to the lead. Where on earth is Noah Belleville? He goes down to 9th. Comes down into the pits on lap 50. So a big strategy here. Let's take a look at these stints. Seeger decides he's going to come in for fuel. Nick Pressey will now take over the lead. And the Brooklyn driver goes to the top spot. Ryan Pennell will move into the 3rd position. So the second round of pit stops in full swing. We now need to take a look at some of these stint lengths. See what's going to happen here. For some reason, it says Thomas Andrews has gone 54 laps on 1 tank of fuel. I don't believe that, but I'll be absolutely astonished. Anyway. It looks like Nick Pressey went 31 laps on that first stint, 23 on the second. Ryan Pennell a bit closer on his stints so far. Noah Belleville, 25, and now he's been a few laps on this most recent stint. So now, really, we just got to figure out where this second round of green flag pit stops is going to shake everybody. Tommy Withers, he had the long run strategy last time out. He wanted to go 31 laps on his fuel run. Thomas Andrews, as a matter of fact, has not gone 54 laps on this tank of fuel. He's gone 29 on the first stint, so he's gone, what, almost 30 on this one here, so approximately another 29 laps. Further on back, Josh Gaiman now trying to get around Ryan Lindemann. Both of them make contact, and they survive. No crash. Lindemann's okay. Gaiman's okay. Matt Seeger resumes undisturbed after his lap 54 pit stop. He is now in 12th. Nick Pressey is in 1st. Ryan Pennell and Thomas Andrews both up 14 places from where they started, and quickly approaching halfway. If you just tuned in, we've gone caution-free. Defending champion Jacob Prince hits the wall and retires. Same story for Nicholas Giampa in what was the 78 car, being scored as the 15th and 19th place out of this race. Richie Catania in the pits. Briley Wright, the last car on the lead lap. Ryan Pennell decides he's going to come in. Colin McDonough will move into second. Tommy Withers now assumes the bronze medal position. And 8 seconds ahead of all of them, Nick Pressey leading this race. If a caution comes out, he's sitting pretty. How far is he going to go on this fuel run? Matt Seeger trying to stay off the wall with fresh tires, 30.03. He just went green and put in his fastest time. Everyone kind of spread out during this cycle. Tommy Withers half a second ahead of Andrews, and now Belleville in the distance. Let's go on board with the 41 and see how he gets along. And Noah Belleville sitting in that second position. Nick Pressey decides he's going to come into the pits, so now the 41 will resume the lead. Toby Estes sits in third and now second. And Tom Sears, with his tail hanging out of that 14 car, will now reassume the third position. We've passed the halfway mark in this race. And still, I couldn't tell you who's going to win. I really couldn't. There's there's a lot of different strategies at play here. Tommy Withers decides he's also going to come in. We'll have to see how far his stint length went this time. The 6 car getting his left side tires replaced. Noah Belleville only 2 seconds ahead of Toby Estes, and Briley Wright quickly hunting down Matt Seeger. Check this out. Matt Seeger loose out of 4. Here comes the pass. This is for 4th. Chris Fleming, 10 seconds behind these two. These guys are really getting spread out on the racetrack. Briley Wright sitting in that 5th spot. Matt Seeger running in 4th. How about John Honeybrink in that 2-0 on the outside of Nick Pressey? This is for 9th. Honeybrink's going to get left in the dust. Nick Pressey pitted on lap 62, an average of 31 laps each stint. He's trying something different. You got to give him credit. And Nick Pressey rejoins sanity here in the 9th position. Noah Belleville, Toby Estes, Tom Sears, your top 3, separated by 3 and 7 seconds, respectfully. That second stint really spread everybody out. Tommy Withers now going to move to the left-hand side of Thomas Andrews. This is for the 13th spot. And the Virginian trying to work on the Jersey driver, the 6th car loose out of turn number 2 with Colin McDonough slightly in the distance up ahead. Just how far is that 6th car going to get? 2 by 2 with Tom Sears now on the outside of Colin McDonough. McDonough's running in that 12th position. He's fighting for a lucky dog place. Tom Sears is in 3rd. Thomas Andrews and Tommy Withers also all fighting for that 12th position. And the lucky dog spot in 10th with John Honeybrink up 7 seconds. Honeybrink and Pennell fighting for that lucky dog. The Decatur driver on the outside of Honeybrink. And he now puts himself in 10th and in that lucky dog spot. Nick Pressey not too far up ahead. Pennell's got to watch out for him too. Matt Kent's got Richie Catania behind him, and the Floridian tries to move to the inside of the Cartoon Network Monte Carlo. 24 car has the advantage. He'll have not as much of a run out of turn number 2. They are side by side headed into 3. 2 Ford to the inside of the 3-1. And approaching the final 50. Richie Catania puts himself into 7th. Kent still up 10 places from where he started this race. Toby Estes decides he's going to come into the pits. And this is going to be another pit stop. Let's see what the stint length looks like. Estes going 28, 23, and now 21 laps before pitting, and still 50 to go. So if he stretches this next stint 30 laps, he'll have somewhat of enough tires to finish this race. No one else is going to come in with Toby Estes, and now eyebrows probably being raised amongst more than just myself and some of these drivers. I have no idea where this race is going to go, but I love the diversity in the strategy. That's awesome to watch. Jeannie also in the chat saying, great race so far. Make it 4 in a row for Noah Belleville. Got to love that. Belleville still on the inside. Briley Wright now in second, 16 seconds behind him. Colin McDonough and Thomas Andrews still nose to tail as well. Andrews just ahead in that 10th position. McDonough sitting in 11th. Richie Catania in 4th with Nick Pressey behind him. And Noah Belleville decides he's going to come in several laps after Toby Estes. Briley Wright next in line to overtake that first position. And Chris Fleming some 9.5 seconds behind him. Briley Wright is on his way in. Yeah, he's got to not speed. He needs to be extremely careful, and he does get it to pit stop speed. He's going to come on down. Chris Fleming will also join him. Richie Catania and Nick Pressey will take over the top 2 spots. At 193 iRacing miles an hour, Richie Catania leads this race, and now he will swap positions with Nick Pressey. Decatur's Ryan Pinnell. 58 laps is when he last pitted. We're now out to 76. How far will he make it this time? Belleville in the 41. Behind Estes and Andrews dueling for the 5th position, and Toby Estes on fresh tires will absolutely walk away from him. Tom Sears goes green, 30.09 seconds on the board. His personal best. Matt Seeger pitted on the same lap as him, lap 73. Their tires are equal. Do you think Seeger's going to be able to get him for 10th? Fewer than 50 laps remain at Chicagoland. Nick Pressey still leads this race. Noah Belleville on the outside of Thomas Andrews. This is for 6th, and that position belongs to Noah Belleville, no question. At the front, well, not at the front, but what you assume will be the front. Toby Estes in that 8. He's got a very hungry Tommy Withers behind him. In the shadows, the 41 target machine going for 4 consecutive wins. Give you that again. 4 consecutive wins. 144 points with an average finish of 1st, obviously. 3 races, 3 wins. Nick Pressey comes into this race 21 points behind Noah Belleville. Josh Gaiman tied for 2nd in the points. Tom Sears started this race on the pole. He currently runs in 9th. Josh Gaiman running in the 18th position right now. He's got a championship to fight for. Well, actually, and as I'm seeing it, Gaiman's being scored out of this race, so that could be Gaiman's championship. At least his hopes for now dusted. If the cars become too much for him, Nick Pressey right now leading this race. But again, the strategies are so wild. Nick Pressey pitted on lap 62. Noah Belleville, he last pitted on lap 75. That's a 13-lap difference. If you both assume that the next pit stop will be their last, they're going to stretch this stint all the way to the end. Assume it's going to be 31 laps. Nick Pressey's going to pit on lap 93 with approximately 30 laps to go. If Noah Belleville goes the distance, he's going to pit with approximately 20 laps to go, maybe fewer. Maybe not that much. Let's say 20, mid-20s, low to mid-20s. Either way, we've got just over 40 left. And those pit stops are coming within these next 10 laps. So this final run to the end, whoever has the better pit strategy, we're about to find out. It's going to be Pressey and everybody that pitted in lap 60-something. Or it could be Belleville, everybody that pitted lap 70-something. Richie Catania has not pitted since lap 57. So he needs to be coming in soon. His younger brother Tristan is on his inside line, and the Bass Pro Machine works his way around the DuPont Chevy. Caution free, I might add. 83 laps into this race, not a single yellow. Couple of cars getting into the wall, but no major incidents, at least nothing caution worthy. Matt Kent goes green, 30-37 for the A&M pitcher. Ryan Pinnell running in 4th from Decatur, Illinois, trying to please his hometown crowd. Toby Estes running in fourth, trying to get that first win this season. Colin McDonough sneaking in behind him. He runs in seventh. I'm sorry, not Colin McDonough. I'm sorry, that makes no sense. I'm confusing Colin McDonough and Chris Fleming, who's in the 11th position. First lap, first car, 1 lap down. It's 40 to go next time by. Thank God, because I'm starting to trip over my own words. Pressy leads. Richie Catania in second. When Richie gets out of these pits, he's going to have extremely quick tires. However, Richie still has one more pit stop to go after this. He's really on the back foot as he gets into the wall. And the Central Floridian will be one of what I assume is several drivers hoping for a yellow to come out. Now, if Richie can go... Here's the thing. Depending on how far these tires will go, Richie may be able to save enough fuel to get to the end of the race. He's going to need a caution at some point to stay in contention, but we'll see just how far he gets, and it looks like this might be him on the way in, and it is. The senior of the two Catanias decides to hang the tail out, come on into the pits at a ludicrous speed. Hopefully there's not a pit stop there. And the junior of the two Catanias rolls in 15th with one more pit stop waiting for him, and it could be inside the final 15 laps. Tristan last pitted on lap 78. If he can go 30-some laps on this run, he could be sitting in a position to put in some quick times at the end of this race. You saw he almost lost control of the race car at that point. And Noah's computer crashed. It was not the internet this time. Noah Belleville will not win 3 races in a row. That is it. Just 1 minute he was there, and 1 minute he wasn't. On lap 81, Noah Belleville is done. Have a look. Oh no, Belleville looks like he was done before this as well. This is on lap 81. Noah Belleville getting around Ryan Pennell for the 4th position. This is the next lap. Noah getting around Toby Estes for 3rd. 3 straight wins in this race. Noah Belleville trying to overtake Toby Estes for the 3rd position. They're going to swap spots back and forth. And what happens here? There's the blink right there on lap 82. Everybody gets around him. And that is quite literally the end of Noah Belleville's race. So, we will not have a we will not have a 4-time winner this season yet. And now, because Noah Belleville's running in 17th, these points need to be blown wide open. That 21-point lead that Noah Belleville was holding on to is going to be dashed if he can't get back into this one and fire this back up. Josh Gaiman also licking his lips, and then 5 points behind the two of them, Tom Sears, who's running in the 4th position. I think this championship just got a lot more exciting. Noah Belleville starting every race this season, winning the first 3, and now the computer crashing, according to his team in the chat. And with 33 laps to go, Belleville being scored out of this race. TNT doesn't disappoint. Nick Pressey in the lead. Toby Estes in that 2nd position. Tommy Withers in 3rd. Not pitting since lap 62. He's going on a 32nd lap this run, and he will make here what will be the first of everyone's last pit stop. How far will he get? Noah Belleville wants to join the booth. Why not? Let's see if we can get a word from him right now. Noah Belleville, Rick James, can you hear me?
Hey, Rick.
So, that sucks.
Yeah, that I've never had that happen before. I was just going through the corner, and then like it popped up a blue screen and said that I needed to restart my PC. So
One more look on lap 82. There's the pass on Toby Estes, and then going into turn 3, the car just ceases to exist, and your race is done.
Yep.
That is, as Tommy Withers now comes into the pits, that is one of the most unfortunate things I've ever seen, man. But if you just joined or you missed it here, Noah Belleville leading this race, leading this championship, dominating the points up to this point, and then the computer crashing. So I was just saying earlier, your 21-point lead over Nick Pressey and Josh Gaiman is now going to be minimized by the end of the night. Toby Estes leading this one, and almost I tell you what, if there was ever a race where it was best for you to just have a DNF for no reason, this was it. With Laguna Seca coming next week, now you've got to be thinking a week ahead and think you have to perform there.
Yeah, I feel good about Laguna. I don't really do good on the road courses, but definitely wanted to get this one because I felt like I could maybe go for 5 in a row if I got tonight, and it was looking like it.
Well, and we were talking in the drivers' meeting about putting a bounty on that. I think we'll have to talk about that bounty going to next week, but that's pretty unfortunate that the computer just up and dies. So now, of the drivers that are in that top 4, top 5, who are you expecting to win this race?
I mean, Toby's got it locked down. He's been quick all night. He's been giving me a run for my money. We had a really long battle there on our second pit stop. We both were getting into the wall, getting squirrely on the front stretch. We almost hit each other. I'm surprised we both ended up saving it. And he's been running a really good race. He's got I think he's got the right strategy right now. I know there's probably some guys out there that are trying to save fuel and make it on one less stop, but I think they're going to lose too much time trying to save that fuel. Toby's just running a really fast pace. If I'm seeing this right, he's got an 11-second gap right now. So if this goes green, he's chilling.
11 seconds at the front, 25 laps to go. Not this time by, but the time after that. Tom Sears, almost 12 seconds behind him, but again, he's 3 points behind second and third in the championship. This is going to be a huge climb for him, especially considering that Nick Pressey is in 7th. Josh Gaiman, who's tied with Nick Pressey in points, is now also out of this race. And the championship is about to be turned upside down. Let's open up the points one more time and have a look here. Toby Estes finds himself not am I reading this right? Is he not in the top 15? Yeah, Toby Estes is not in the top 15 in points, so this is going to be huge redemption. He did miss a race, that's exactly correct. So this is going to be huge redemption for him. That looked like Colin McDonough that was getting into the wall. It was Colin McDonough getting into the wall. Tristan Catania decides to pit. Estes, Wright, and Sears all in the pits as well. There's Toby. He's down, he's away. And now Matt Seeger to the lead. You've seen him race a few weeks. What do you think of his sophomore season? It doesn't look like it's going to be the same old sophomore slump. He's actually improving compared to last year.
Are you talking about Seeger?
Talking about Seeger.
Yeah, he's been really good. I've been around him a couple times on the track, and he's been really nice on the track, giving you plenty of room. He's a pretty clean driver. I haven't really gotten to race him too much for position yet, but from what I've seen, he's good and clean, and that's all you need for TNT.
He's holding his own, though. I mean, not only is he good and clean, but he's also competing. He's leading laps. He's up there mixing it with the top 5. You got to give it up to Ryan Lindemann as well. He just gave up 13th to come down into the pits, but he's also been quick. He's also been staying out of the way, doing his thing. Ryan Lindemann has been moving in really quick time. Richie Catania's up to the 2nd position. 24 laps to go at Chicagoland, car 24, with one more pit stop to make. Richie last pitted on lap 86, Noah, so that means if he goes, 30 laps, he's going to pit with about 20 laps to go. He's got to short pit here, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the strategy is. If I were him, I'd be pitting now. I was breaking it up into equal 25 lap stints, which is what the leaders are also doing. Richie's, I guess, just out there hoping for a caution here. If he gets it, it'd be huge for him. But if he doesn't get it, by the time he comes out of pits, he's going to be way behind.
John Honeybrink decides it's time to come in. Almost 30 laps in that NVIDIA number 20.
Another thing, what happened to Prince? He was right there with us. And
He hit the wall. I was dumbfounded, man. He hit the wall, and then that was just it for him. He decided to park it. So this is on lap number 40. Jacob Prince makes contact with the wall. I mean, the sun's still out, honestly. The sky's still bright. He scrapes the wall, and he decides that's it. And it's a shame because he was quick. He was up in that top 5. And speaking of quick, how about Tom Sears going purple? 29.95. Not only his personal best, but the fastest lap this race. 29.947 to be exact.
Track's getting faster. It's getting cooler as the night goes on.
Lurkin' Tom, for those that know. Exactly. More grip, more rubber. 2-0 to go next time by, and then it's 1-9 at the line. Tom Sears in 6th. He starts this race on pole, Noah, and, I mean, when he's on his game, he's on his game. You cannot beat this guy.
Yeah, and I'm not quite too sure how he lost all the time he did on Toby, because the first run, in my opinion, he was the fastest guy on the first run. He dropped back on the first couple laps, but then he started running Toby down. And then under the pit stops, I guess he just didn't get into his boxes quick, and he lost a couple seconds. And ever since then, he's just kind of been nowhere to be seen. And he was doing a strategy where he was pitting later, but he wasn't gaining the time back on the stint. And I'm not too sure why, but all in all, he's still running pretty good here in second. Or, well, what will probably be second once if it goes green at the end.
Yeah, he's got something about him this weekend, and I genuinely hope that it just continues and continues, because there's something that's just clicking with him this season. And for a guy that genuinely does not have a lot of time to race, and he does, when he can, genuinely race, and we missed him for, quite a while there. As he wasn't able to. So just, it's good to see him back where we're used to seeing Tom Sears, amongst the top 5. Ryan Pennell, we know he has one more pit stop remaining, but it's good for the Decatur native as well. The hometown flavor of the week, currently running in the top 3 and up 13 places from where he started. And you said it earlier, man, if a caution comes out, it's genuinely, he could be sitting real pretty right now, but he's going to come in very, very soon. It's been 20 laps on this run, so we know he can't make it the distance. And actually, Noah, you're the race car driver. Let me ask you, what's the furthest you can go on a fuel run? 32, 33 laps?
So if you ran it straight up, it was looking like 28. If you ran the bottom the whole time, it was 28. If you saved a little fuel, you could probably go 30 pretty easily. Any more than that, and you're giving up a lot of time.
So Pennell is looking to go 38 laps to go the distance, and never mind, he's coming right in. So Pennell's not going to go 38 laps on fuel. That's insanity. However, he's going to have the freshest tires of anybody out on the racetrack, and he now has to put in qualifying laps to make up this sort of time. But if he puts the hammer down, he could stand to make a lot of positions in those last 5 to 10 laps when tires have just given up.
Yeah, and Pressy sitting in second right now. He has to make another pit stop, right?
Nick Pressy last pitted on lap 94. He needs to go 31 laps to go the distance, but by the time he gets, it's extremely possible. What does Joe Rogan say? It's entirely possible. But anyway,
he could hold on for second here. Actually, with that big of a gap,
so
he could do it.
let's take a look. Over the last 5 laps, Nick Pressby has been giving up, what is it, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6, 6, and 6 tenths consecutively. And this last time around, Tom Sears is only 3 tenths quicker than Nick Pressy. So
I'm on board with Pressy right now, and he's clutching into the corner, so he thinks that he can make it.
Let's have a listen. Just the wind, just the sound of the wind, and he cuts the throttle back in. Have a listen down the front straight, and you'll hear Nick Pressy put the clutch in. What a sound, and the Brooklyn driver will get back to work. Lucky number 13 laps to go, and 12 at the line. Tom Sears has to cut him down to at least, I'm thinking, what, 8, 9 tenths a second? If he doesn't get a move on quick, it's not going to be, it physically just will not be enough time for Sears. He can, you know, he can go as fast as he wants. There's just not enough laps left in this race. That last time through on lap 112, it's 6 tenths of a second. But Noah, here's what's going to happen. Pressy is very good at being fast, but his tires are going to fall off exponentially with the way he has to drive this car. Tom Sears last pitted on lap 99, so his tires are 5 laps more fresh than Nick Pressy. So Sears needs to get the hammer down now, but at some point, the tires aren't going to be as sweet as they used to be. 11 to go, 1-0 next time, and then it's 9 at the line. On lap 114, Sears is only 3 tenths quicker than Pressy, and Noah, that's just not quick enough.
Nope. And another thing is, as the tires wear off, naturally you have to use more off-throttle time to go into the corner, which inadvertently helps you save more fuel. So it's easier to save more fuel as the run goes on. I think he's going to pull this off. Because he wouldn't be clutching if he didn't think he could possibly make it.
Big shake out of turn number 4, and Nick Pressy really loses the race car. I mean, almost lost the race car. He's got to be careful that he keeps that thing moving in one solid line. But Tom Sears also needs to pick up the pace. Ryan Pinnell, he pitted on lap 109. He just went green, 30.23 seconds. He's also 13 seconds behind Matt Kent. So Ryan Pinnell's going to need a little bit of magic to make this work for him. Toby Estes, 3 1/3 seconds ahead of Nick Pressy over the last 5 laps.
And shout out Thomas Andrews. I watched his qualifying lap, and he put it in the wall both corners and pretty much started last, and he's up here in the 5th place, so pretty good run up through the field for him.
He did actually start dead last, so he started in 20th, or is that second to last? Second to last, so he started super far back. So he's sitting in 5th right now. He's also going to need to stretch it, though. He pitted on lap 93. That's a 32-lap fuel run. We know he can do it, but he's got Tommy Withers 6 seconds behind him, and there's 8 laps to go. There's time for Withers to catch Andrews, and, well, Withers just isn't moving fast enough at the time, and I think Withers himself is trying to save fuel to make it to the end. Matt Seeger pitted on 102. He's good to go. Over the last 5 laps, Seeger has been reeling in Withers to the tune of at least 5 tenths a lap. Matt Seeger's cooking. He could even get Thomas Andrews before this one's over.
Yeah, the field was very split on strategy for this race, which I was really surprised by, because when I added it up, I thought saving for one less pit stop was going to be a lot of time that you had to give up on the track, but a few guys are making it work, and props to them. We saw it last week, or not last week, we had an off week. 2 weeks ago at Kansas, a couple guys doing a 3-stop, made it work, and it's happening again today.
Chris
TNT
Fleming.
Strategies.
Sorry, no. Chris Fleming and Richie Catania now battling for position. This is 8th. With a shake, here comes the Floridian down the back straight. They're going to race it out for the position. And in the distance, Toby Estes.
Cue the Jaws music, right? You're trying to do this battle for position, but you also have this leader coming up behind you, and you know you don't want to interfere with him, and it's a tough spot sometimes for these guys to try and battle it out for position with the leader right behind you.
Catania moves into the 8th spot by an inch, and Fleming on the outside. Toby Estes really doesn't have anything to do but just take it easy. He pitted on lap 99. He's got tires that are 5 laps more fresh than Nick Pressey, and he's got a almost 3.5 second gap on the Brooklyn driver with 4 seconds to go. Tom Sears is 10 seconds behind Nick Pressey and will not reel him in for the position. Chris Fleming right on Catania's bumper, points on the line, and a little bit of pride as well. Matt Seeger's within 1 second to Tommy Withers with 3 laps to go. The 16's progression has slowed down, but here comes the hunt for a top 6 spot. Three to go next time by. Fans, we're going to have top 3 on the podium, as we usually do. Don't go anywhere when this one's over. We're going to talk to our first, second, and third place finishers. We've got Noah Belleville in the booth, and it's been a pleasure having him here. He's normally in the rig on the racetrack, but the computer decided to give up, and now Belleville's points lead will be in tatters by the end of this one. Noah, we hope you're going to stick around for the booth as well. That one's going to be a good one. But thank you for joining us, and fans at home, as we have 2 laps to go here, thank you so much for joining us. We cannot do this without you, and every single week is a pleasure. Please do not forget, next week at Laguna Seca Raceway, the Gen 4 cars will race. Noah Belleville will be on the racetrack going for 4 wins in 3 races. Donald Ray asking, Moldy's out, what happened? The computer just crashed. Jacket, it just went up in smoke, and now Moldy gets to sit next to me while we watch Toby Estes collect the white flag. 1.5 miles for the Bluegrass Bandit to go, Noah, and this championship just got a lot more interesting.
Let him cook. Toby Estes. He's keeping me on my toes. Great driver, man. And huge points day for Pressey if he can just get through this last lap, because he was second in points, I believe, and that gap is going to be really close.
Heading into your favorite track, you could say, next week of the season, Laguna Seca. He's going to have the silver bullet looking over his shadow. It's Coors all around. Toby Estes wins at Chicagoland. Nick Pressey, 4 seconds behind and still in turn number 3. Now coming out of 4. Tom Sears with a bronze medal finish. Matt Seeger hot on the heels of Tommy Withers. It's going to take a wiggle from the 6 to give up position number 6. There's the wiggle right there, but it's not enough. Tommy Withers in 6th, the sophomore Matt Seeger in 2nd, and the Bluegrass Bandit Toby Estes comes home with a win.
What a race. Caution free again. 1 caution this whole season. You gotta love it. Riley coming up to congratulate him.
So Toby Estes, longtime friend, absolutely. So Toby Estes will celebrate as your race winner. We're going to have our top 3 on the podium in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. On the podium with our top three, starting with tonight's bronze medalist from Southampton, Mass, and it's Tom Sears with tonight's third place finish. Tomo, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Another third place finish. Just happy to be able to race. Wasn't sure if I'd be able to, so that's great. Good run there by Toby. Unfortunate that our moldy muskrat friend Noah Belleville lagged out. Very unfortunate. Playoff implications, certainly. Good race. I didn't even expect my car to be that fast, but I guess it was fast enough to win pole. I thought I had some good long run speed, but I kind of messed up my first pit entry, and then Moldy started doing the exact tire cycle pits, and then I gave up on my plan to do long runs, and I looks like I should have kept with it, but it doesn't matter now. Good points day. We'll take it.
We're going to see you next week at Laguna Seca Raceway. Unofficially, you are third in the points standings. Only 11 markers off of Noah Belleville, 5 away from Nick Pressey in second. Noah, you've got our silver medalist, Nick Pressey.
Yeah, and on the second podium, Mr. Pressey. First, I want to know what made you decide to do a 3-stop strategy in a 4-stop race, because it seemed like a really challenging thing, and how did you pull it off? And he's gone. Dang.
Okay, so that's Nick Pressey's mic. Nick, you still with us? Did we lose
Yeah,
you?
I'm still with you. My mic was muted.
All right, here we go. Go ahead, Nick. How did make the pit strategy work?
I mean, it worked for him last week. Noah does. So I said I'll try it this week, see what happens. I didn't expect it to be as hard as it was at Kansas. The fall off wasn't nearly as great. Uh, but the strategy played out pretty okay, and I think save for a couple of taps at the wall, this could have been mine. I've been waiting to get my first win in TNT for a very long time. Though today's not the day, I do feel like I'm getting pretty close to it.
Sooner or later, we're going to
Well,
see you there. Next week at Laguna Seca, you've got a chance to do just a little bit better. We're going to see you there.
You're gonna see me there. I don't think you'll see me at the front though. Got to work on a few things before we
We'll
can
see
make
what
that
happens.
happen.
We'll see what happens. Chin up, man. You're going to be fine. But still, a second place finish, unofficially in the points. You find yourself 6 points away from Noah Belleville, headed into Laguna Seca. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much. What?
From the Bluegrass State, Toby Estes winning this race. Toby, where did that come from?
It honestly come from Noah lagging out. But felt like I had good pace. I should have pit when they pit there on the first stop, but for some reason I decided to keep going. Kind of short pit there, closer to the end, and then my tires just they weren't going to equal out. Molly was definitely going to drive by me, and then after he drove by me, he disappeared. But I don't know. I felt like I had a good long run car run the bottom. Track honestly really changed when it switched tonight. I felt like I couldn't even try to run the middle or the top. It would just, for some reason, absolutely destroy the right front. But yeah, I'll take a win any way I can get it at this point, especially running part time.
Well, almost like you swapped schedules with Noah Belleville here, but a win is a win. You're back, man. It's back on top, and anybody now needs to look out for you to win that race moving forward. Next week at Laguna Seca, man, we'll see you go for 2 in a row. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited too. But congratulations on that win. We'll see you in a week.
Yeah, I definitely would have let Moldy win that race, but you put the bounty out on him, so I had put the lag switch on him. So R.I.P. Moldy.
As intended, according to plan. All right, man. Congratulations on the win. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Fans at home, that's going to do it. That's it. That is a 4th TNT season. Toby Estes, your winner. Noah Belleville, unfortunately, lagging out of this race with some computer issues. But Noah, thanks for joining us for the last bit of this race, and we'll see you next week at Laguna Seca.
Yep, I'll be there. I'm gonna go cry now.
Noah's gonna go cry. We're going to go have a nice beverage and talk about this race. Until that next race, everybody, please do stay safe.